Hey guys, my name is Nate and I'm the Otter Outdoorsman, and today we're going to be making a pouch out of materials that you may find around your house. Let's get started. Okay guys, so as I said, we're going to be making a pouch. Now this is going to be kind of a starting episode for a bunch of DIY projects I want to do. I finally kind of got my office settled down. If it's echoey, I'm currently working on making it less echoey in here. But, lo and behold, so this is going to be for one of my mods for my budget survival kit that I made a while back, and I'll be getting into the who kind of won it. I'm not going to be doing it in this person did the best. I'm actually going to be doing it a little bit differently because I had a lot of great entries. But I'm finally starting on my modification sets, and the first thing I needed was a container. Now, one of the things I wanted to do with my budget kit was use things that were laying around the house, things that people may have, and in this case I am using old clothes. An old pair of jeans I will never fit in. I wore these 12 years ago. They got beaten down enough that I didn't really want to give them away, and cotton, it's material, I knew I could do a lot with them. I have used it in the past. Years ago, I was going on a survival course, and I needed a mask for one of my axes because I didn't have time to order one. So actually, out of these same jeans, I made kind of a axe mask with one of the pant legs. And we're actually going to be using a very similar concept that I used for this to make it. So, materials that you will need. Well, you're going to need, in this case, fabric, or I would say if you have an old pair of jeans that they're torn up, can't really get rid of them, but you want to repurpose them. Especially great if you have kids that are growing up. I've outgrown these jeans, and their clothes really aren't worth giving off or giving away or making as hand-me-downs or whatever. The other thing you'll need is a pair of scissors, especially something that can cut through fabric. These are leather scissors that I have. Needle and thread, or in this case I just have my sewing kit, and some spare paracord. If you're like me, my house has bits and bobs of it laying around. It doesn't have to be paracord, it could be any rope. I just chose paracord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera, we'll put it down, and I'll probably walk you through what I'm going to be doing, or doing a voiceover. We'll see how this goes. As I said, this is kind of a pilot for DIY projects. I have a bunch more in thought, and I can't wait to show them. But let's get started on this bag. Okay guys, so for the first step, what we want to do, it's a little bit of cheating, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the pant leg. You can just take fabric, sew a seam down there, and if you want, kind of hem it up here. That's up to you, but I'm kind of saving myself a lot of work in making this pouch by just using the bottom of a pant leg. That's what I did for the mask of the axe, which I wouldn't recommend using it for an axe mask. It was a good last minute one. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick however size I want it. So in this case I'm going to be using my my workbench here, and I'm actually going to be using these 2 yellow stripes as my length. You can do it shorter, you can do longer. In this case, I'm just going to give myself some extra space. And if you want to just go straight, you can. In this case, I'm actually going to be using the yellow parts here as a guide. So, here is our first portion. Now, what we want to do is turn it inside out so we can hide our seam. Now, I'm not the best sewer in the world. I'm very, very amateur at it. What I may do is I'm going to off camera, I'm going to possibly try and clean this up a little bit, and then I'm going to get a needle thread and we'll continue from there. Okay, so I have a needle threaded. I'm not going to show you how, not the best at it. And what I've also done was I've pinned down this portion so it stays still while we work. Now, basically what I'm going to do, and as I said, I'm going to pre-say this. I wouldn't really watch me to learn how to sew, but just kind of for the project, because as I said, not the best sewer. Okay guys, so this is where I'm going to kind of take over with the voiceover, but basically what I'm doing is I'm starting off at the beginning, kind of locking in my stitch, and essentially I'm just going, I made a knot at one end, the end that didn't have the needle, and just kind of worked back, and I just kind of went over and over and over until I kind of got enough friction going. If you have a sewing machine, you will save a lot of time. You just do a pass with the sewing machine on the bottom and you'll pretty much be good to go. But I don't, so I'm hand stitching. As I said, I'm not the best sewer, so I kind of experimented with various stitches as I went along. I found kind of what worked for me, and eventually one of the stitches just stuck and I went with it. I kind of had a little bit too much rope on it, so I kind of messed up a few times, and I'm not afraid to show my mistakes. But then at the end here, what I will start to do is I'm actually going to just kind of go through, do a few passes, and then tie it off at the end, so it's good to go. Okay, so now at this point, I'm basically just locking off the stitch. Kind of switched up my sewing patterns a few times throughout it. As I said, I'm not good at sewing, I'm not very practiced at sewing. I can kind of do enough to patch up a hole. My stitch obviously changed quite a few times. At least twice. I may go through this again later on and redo the stitch, but the point still stands, is that you just sew along this way. Whichever one you think, whatever stitch you think is best. This pouch is mainly just meant for a kind of a budget survival kit. I'm not going much further with this pouch. It's not Hidden Woodsman quality, obviously, and I would never try and be a professional with this quality. But so I've now done that, and now that I've blocked that, I can get rid of excess. I can remove my pins. No longer need them for now. And as I said, not the best stitch. Kind of started off trying to do a whip stitch, then did a straight swip, and then did that. I am not your best sewer. Most of my DIY projects will not be sewing. Then what we do, we turn it inside out. And there's the base part of our bag. If you don't mind it being open up here, Bob's your uncle, you can go ahead and do that. What I'm actually going to do, and the reason why I said the reason you'll need paracord, is I will also still need a little bit of that rope, but what we're going to do is later I will whip the ends of these pieces of paracord, because they're frayed, because as I said they're chunk pieces. Probably the ends off of one of my many projects. Kind of get it as even as possible. And then basically what I'm going to do is take what I have left of the string, put a quick knot in that so it stays. And then in this case, what I'm just going to do is fail at that miserably. Let me just get another needle lined up. Okay guys, so basically what I did with this is I just took the needle, passed it through the paracord and both over and under it, kind of just to lock it in place. Nothing too special, just kept doing passes. Another thing you could do with this is on both sides of the seam is cut some small holes and run some cord through it and create kind of a drawstring bag. I didn't want to do that though because that kind of took up time, and to me that kind of defeated the point of a budget kit. I wanted to do it quick, dirty, and simple, because that's what works. Okay, and after a few passes, it's now secured. Most of that was going to be time-lapse because it takes a while and it's not the most exciting thing. Now, all you need to do to seal it up would be just bunch up the top. And tie it off. You have a pouch to keep your stuff in. Okay guys, so I just kind of put the rest of the jeans material in here just to show you. Now, do I think this was an easy project? Yeah, as long as you have some rudimentary sewing skills. I am a horrible seamster. I can sew things together, but that's about it. It's an easy enough project that I could get that done easily. It's probably not going to be the strongest stitch in the world, but this is on a budget. You get what you pay for. Now, as I said, this is going to be for my budget survival kit. I'll post a video down below as to my kit and other people's kits. I have a playlist going. Keep sending them in. I still occasionally get at least one or two in. Send them in if you want. I still love to see them if you guys feel like doing the challenge, or you thought about doing the challenge and just hadn't. It was basically a challenge to do a survival kit for under 20 bucks in one store, or like one or an aisle. Just details of that video. No prize, bragging rights, so to speak. I was starting to get into modding. I decided I wanted to mod mine. Now, this is the bag it's going to be going into. Now, this is made of cotton. You can use it out of any pant type or any material type. You don't even have to use a pant slit. You can use fabric if you want. I have a lot of other uses for denim. I will be probably touching upon them in the future. I love it for char cloth, but one of the other things you could do with this, if you wanted, is you could wax this bag. I'm not going to. I'm not that invested in this bag, but if you want to make this waterproof and actually use it more, and you've done a good stitch on it, go for it. Wax it. You then make waterproof it. And then you have a somewhat water-resistant pouch. It's going to make a great Tinder bag. You just store things in. It's an okay project. And this was at least me testing out some of the stuff for DIY projects. I haven't decided if I'm going to make them more instructional or just taking you along and showing you progress. It depends on the project, and we'll go from there. This is one I've been kind of thinking about doing for a while. Anyways, my name's Nate. I'm the Otter Outdoorsman. This has been how to make yourself a pouch out of a pant leg. And you guys have a good day, and remember, get out in the woods and have some fun. See you, everyone.